Hello fellow gamers, welcome to this GameSphere first look of JTTW Journey to the West. Journey to the West is a new Chinese fantasy MMO that just went open beta today, November 29th, and it's based on a very popular Chinese legend. So without further ado, let's take a look at the game. First thing you should know about Journey to the West is this is a Chinese MMO as Chinese as it's going to get. Journey to the West is one of the most popular, if not the most popular, novel originally from the 16th century in China. It is known to pretty much any Asian person, and as a consequence the game is going to be full of Chinese lore and mythical creatures, and it helps a bit to be familiar with at least some of the terminology and characters that you're going to come across in this game. As soon as the character creation dialogue, you're going to be confronted with a couple of terms you might not be familiar with. For example, the first initial class choice that you have is the Asura. The Asura, which is in origin an Indian word, in Buddhist and in Chinese mythology, usually stands for a guardian. Now, the statue that you're actually seeing in the left top of the character creation screen is a typical Asura, and if you ever go to Asia and you visit a Buddhist temple, it's very likely that you will come across some of these guys. The second class you can choose is the Kitsune. Now, this is a bit of a strange word to come across in a Chinese MMO because Kitsune is obviously a Japanese word and it means fox, more specifically a mythical fox that could have up to 9 tails and make itself invisible. Now, I guess that the guys who made the game thought that the Chinese name, Huili Jing, is probably not very easily pronounceable for Westerners, so they went for the Japanese name. As for the two remaining class types you can choose, Netherese, the only link I see is with the Dungeons and Dragons game, where there's a Netheril realm, and then the Naga, well, that's a word that anyone who played a classic MMO will know. So these seem to be more Western game inspired than the previous two class types. In terms of the roles for each of the classes, the Naga obviously is the melee fighter, the Kitsune would be the crowd controller, the Netherese more or less corresponds with the rogue role, and then the Naga is the high DPS caster type of role for this game. So let's go ahead and create a female caster, a Naga, and take a look at the customization options. I'm not going to spend too much time here. You have a couple of different faces. You can set the hair color, you can set the skin tone, and there's also some accessories that you can choose from, so not too much and not too little. Just give this character a name and get into the game. And while the game is loading, let me just mention that when you initially start the game for the first time, it's going to be in windowed mode, and there's no way to resize it from the initial window. You have to create a character first, then go into the game, and then you have the option to resize it. So obviously I already did that once before, and from then on your game starts in full screen. It's a little cumbersome, but in the first time you're not going to have the option to resize the screen. Character control is very straightforward. WASD to move your character, or just use the left and mouse button pressed down simultaneously. You can rotate the camera with the right mouse button and zoom in and out with the mouse wheel, so all of that should be pretty straightforward. Now, in this initial scene, you're actually introduced to the three protagonists of the story of Journey to the West. In the middle, you can see Sun Wukong, the Monkey King. He goes by many names, but usually it's Sun Wukong. Then to the right of the Monkey King is Sha Wujing, usually translated as Brother Sand. Now, before he became a Buddhist monk, this guy used to eat people and wear their skulls as a necklace. And then there's Buje, who's usually depicted as a pig and whose weapon is a rake. So for future reference in the rest of this video and any other video I'll make about Journey to the West, I'll just refer to these guys as Monkey, Sand, and Pigsy. As you can see, quests, quest rewards, quest dialogues, etc. are all pretty classic and straightforward, so you shouldn't have any problem here. Most of the NPC voiceovers are still going to be in Chinese, but the translation is actually not too bad, so you shouldn't have any problem figuring out what you need to do. Also, typical for any Asian MMO is that the class dialogue will contain links. If you just click on the link, your character will start moving towards the NPC or the mob that you either need to talk to or kill. This transport mode that you're seeing right now is actually depicted many times in the original story of Journey to the West, and here we are at our destination and we can turn in our quest. And as you can see on the right, the destination NPC is actually listed in green, so we can click on those names to have our character auto navigate towards the destination. Up till now we've only had quests of the type go to this guy and talk to this guy and get a reward, so let's take a look at the combat now. We just got our first quest where we actually need to go and smitter something, so let me just move here. Targeting is tap targeting, and the skills are accessible with the 1 up to equals key, so the top row of your keyboard. I've actually already enabled the auto pickup in the first test character I made. Let me quickly just show you that. If you go into the options, there's a checkbox you can activate to do auto looting. If you don't do this, you have to confirm each pickup, so I would recommend, especially in the early stages of the game, that you just switch that checkbox on. For the first couple of quests, you really only need to kill a couple of mobs of each type for each quest, and also your health level compared to the damage that these mobs can do is pretty high, so you really shouldn't have any problem going over the first couple of levels in quests. As with any MMO, you will typically get rewards in terms of equipment as you level up. You can open the inventory by pressing B and then just right-clicking on an item to equip it. Now, the first time you might be a bit puzzled about what to do is when you have to go and free this humongous NPC. You actually have to click in the area which is now lit up in blue, right underneath where the NPC is standing, not click on the NPC or on the barrier which is surrounding him. So clicking on the ground will complete this quest and then transport you to the next quest. And by the way, everything you see here is in the mythical realm where the Jade Emperor rules over the immortals. This is a vase where Monkey used to be trapped in, and right next to him is a representation of Monkey's magical staff, which can either be extremely small or be sized at Monkey's will to pretty much any size, including the humongous size that you see there. So now we're going to be transported by the magical swords here to the next quest giver, and as a reward for our previous quest we're actually going to, as you can guess, because there's already a couple standing around, we're going to be rewarded with our first mount. Now you have to actually equip the mount by right-clicking before you can ride it, and then after equipping it, if you click on a hot link in the quest to go to any NPC, if the distance is far enough, you will actually be mounted automatically to move to the next NPC or mob. Now, progressing a bit in the game, after you come to this area and after this cutscene, you will actually get a quest from Brother Sand to rescue a Naga, and that will award you with something called a psyche. I have no idea what that is a translation of. But basically, so you get the quest from Brother Sand, you have to kill a couple of mobs here. Just had to wait a bit until they spawned. So you have to kill, I think, 2 of these guys. Here we go. As you can see, they're getting a bit harder to kill, but still they're not doing much damage to my character. Okay, so let's run to the Naga that we have to save. Oops, I've got some guy chasing me. Let's get rid of them. There we go. So we have to revive this guy by right-clicking, and he will take us to the other side of this inferno. He takes me to his leader, and then this guy, as you can see, gives me an award which is called a psyche. Now if we open our skill window, well, first we need to equip it, of course. So right click to equip this new psyche. And then if we look at our skill window, we can see that we can equip this, and this is actually mapped to the Q, E, and R keys. What this does is it transforms you into another type of character, an avatar if you like, and it gives you a special super set of skills for a limited time. So if we press Q, you can see we're transformed into an avatar, and we can use these special skills. So that's pretty cool and not really standard for a Western MMO, but very much in the storyline of the Monkey King. So there you have it, fellow gamers, our first look at Journey to the West on GameSphere. I'm sure I'll make a couple of more videos about this game because Journey to the West is a novel that I really enjoyed studying at university, and maybe I can give you some insights and some more in-depth explanation about some of the plot lines and the characters that you're very likely to encounter in this game. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you soon.